So yeah, man.
You staying drama free?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Ooh, I don't got time for all that.
The reason I brought that up because let me ask you this: did you see the Cat Williams interview from the Shay Shay Club with Shannon Sharp?
No. Are we gonna do this, Mr. Benja? Are we gonna do this?
We got to talk about it. We don't.
Can I just say something real quick?
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Yeah, man, we'll talk about everybody knows in the world. If you haven't known, Katt Williams went viral for a 3-hour podcast with Shannon Sharp, a football player of all people, and just went ham on hot ass mess. If you don't know what that means, on all the different comedians, the public figures in Black America. But regardless of that, Mr. Benja, when I saw it, and I think I sent it to you. But did you see it before I sent it to you?
I sometimes I start fast scrolling through X's trending topics or whatever, and I think I may have seen Cat Williams' name, but I did not take notice. No, you were the person who put me on it. I'll just go ahead and say it.
Yeah, I don't know who put me on it first. Maybe it was my wife. Yeah, she's always a little ahead of the curve. She just what she does. So I was like, okay, let me check this out. So I sat down to her, Cat Williams, but then I started looking. I said, oh, he is wilding, and then went viral. So went viral in this case for a 3-hour podcast to get what at the recording was that 25 million views or 23 million views.
Yeah,
It was just going through the roof for 3 hours. Let's be honest, 3-hour podcast is not short. And for when I first saw it, and then I came back a day later, and it was amazing how many people took clips from that and put faces of all the people you talked about, looking mad, looking at
yeah,
Cat Williams. And there was, I don't know who these people were, but they were getting thousands of views, just commenting and reposting the same stuff. It was just like
yeah.
blowing my mind of how people were making money off of this. So anyway, that's my take on it. I guess we're going to do the same thing. I'm sure some bitches gonna happen to Cat Williams fighting a bunch of folks. So yes, please can share when you see this.
I see you setting up your video editor already. This is gonna be great.
So yeah, do you want to get into? I'll let you start since you already commented in the public discourse already.
No, it was just funny to me. It's we just started 2024, and I'm sitting around like, huh, 2024 is pretty calm so far. Then like the radio bomb drop by Funk Master Flex. You got to get on this, and okay. So I'm actually a fan of internal competition amongst the groups. That sounded way off, but by groups, I just mean by a certain industry. When it's the iron sharpens iron thing, where you've got 2 or 3 or 4 at max groups or people going at each other. You've got IBM versus Apple or Microsoft versus Apple in the software race. You've got Coke versus Pepsi, DC versus Marvel. What's another one, Theo?
Oh, there's so many. Shoot.
Yeah.
Cisco versus Nortel, but that's like a
Yeah,
industry
exactly.
specific one. Yes.
I wasn't expecting you to say that one.
I know. That's way back in my IT days, but yeah, there's so many, man.
The thing with this one, every once in a while, you get these competitions that keep people on their toes. Even in music and comedy, Kanye West and wait, who was Kanye West going up against? Not 50 Cent that one time, but I don't.
What time? So many.
Yeah, exactly.
Jay-Z and Nas, Jay-Z
Pick
and Nas
somebody.
at one time, Jay-Z and Nas at one time. Yep.
Yeah, but and Joe Rogan, Carlos Mencia, if you want to stick to comedy. But every once in a while, you get an awesome occurrence where it's one versus everybody. When you get just scorched earth kind of stuff, right? Where he puts like these 2 or 3 people behind him and is like, see these guys? They're okay. Everybody else, flames. And
Yeah, man. Okay, so many different angles to take on this. We can talk about specifics of what he talked about. What was your general feeling? First of all, did you listen to the whole 3-hour podcast?
actually did. I actually stopped and went back and listened to the whole thing. For a while, it was on 2x speed. And yeah, his voice at 2x speed is funny, but it was good.
It was. That was an amazing thing. It was longer than The Color Purple. It was longer than Oppenheimer. Some movies we watched this year. It was crazy how long it was. And to your point, you mentioned, and that's the stuff that YouTube wants, right? They want that. We're talking, put my business hat on. They want that content that keep people engaged for a long period of time. And that's probably why it was super viral because it was so long and everything was a banger. You just didn't know what he was going to say next. And then that was made it super interesting. But I listened to the first half and I was like, man, this is too much. But he was wilding. And then I tried to find some clips about different things he said. I was like, I missed that part. Let me go back. So I finally finished it yesterday, and I was just like, wow, this dude, man, he was just going in. High level though, Katt Williams is problematic. Let's be honest. Well, I think this might be controversial, but Katt Williams had some issues in the past. Look, we put him on pedestal now because of this he's talking about. But he said some outlandish things. I think he said he was a genius and what he some of the things I felt were true, some of the things were a little bit suspect. So was there anything that just stood out for you? We'll just talk about
Well,
I think the
let's
way I
let's
want to
uh,
frame it.
the
Yeah.
obvious one is I was reading like 3,000 books a week. What do you say? You think I'm exaggerating, but I think that is what it was.
Yes. I think I heard that. I think he said it was in Mensa. He was a genius. 7.
3,000 books a year, he says. Okay.
Yeah. He said he could have what it was just a bunch of stuff. He ran the 440 or something and the 40-yard dash and 4.1 and just highest speed the NFL players ever did was 4.2. So stuff like that. Some was true, some was like Cat Williamisms, right? And
Yeah.
and look, the people new to him, it seems like a lot of white folks. So I have a hot take on this, Mr. Benja. I
Oh,
have a hot take. Yeah.
let me hear it.
I think one of the reasons why he went viral, in addition to all the talking about these folks in comedy world like Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey and folks that we know, that helped. But also, I think a lot of let's for lack of a better term, white folks are saying he is the anti not just white folks, I think anybody that's more liberally minded, that he is the anti um, Dave Chappelle. So you remember, we're not talking about Dave Chappelle just dropped a new special. I don't know if you saw it yet, The Dreamer, and it was
Mm,
on Netflix. It was okay, but it didn't really light the world on fire. Obviously, we're not talking about it. And one of the things Dave Chappelle has always stand up was that I'm going to get there. We'll land this plane. You're going to see where I'm coming from.
yeah.
Dave Chappelle has always talked about comedy. There should be no restrictions, should be no borders. I can talk about anybody, trans
Yeah.
people. I can talk about handicapped people, which he did in this special, make fun of them. And a lot of people think that's in very poor taste that he's punching down. But he said comedy should have them. That's what we're doing. We're supposed to push the boundaries,
Yeah.
right? And that's his take on it. And a lot of comedians and also the white wing media, right? They stand by that stance. So there should be some free speech available out there, and you should be able to say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Cal Williams is saying something different. I don't know if you know in that
Yeah.
comment. And then he's always said this too. I read back in some of the other stuff. He said in Friday there was a rape scene that we're gonna put in the next Friday after next. I think that was the one he
Yeah.
was in. We played Money Mike. He said there was gonna be a rape scene in there, and he said I told him to take it out. I said rape is never funny. You should never joke about that.
Right.
And he said there are certain words we use at a time. We can't use those words anymore. And so there's restrictions about what you say. And then when I went deep dive, he talked about all these other things about it's just like playing a basketball game. There are boundaries, right? That's what you can say and what you can't say. So he's on the other end, right? We had Dave Chappelle here, and I got Cat Williams is saying, yes, there are boundaries. There are words you should never say to stay funny and relevant. And so a lot of folks, in my opinion, I think a lot of folks really keyed in and now putting Cat Williams up as this bastion of, hey, I can still be funny, but I don't have to be offensive. And so I think that helped a lot of the movement toward what do you think of that take?
Offensive is a broad term. Cat's going to be offensive. He's just not going to pick the current labels, terms, categorizations that Dave Chappelle is obviously doing. So maybe, yeah, maybe that's the term anti woke. We are the anti woke brothers, so we understand this.
So go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Let you take your
I was just gonna say, think about that for a second. The anti woke bros. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it's interesting. He just came out right when Dave Chappelle dropped his special, and then I jumped. Not and on something this podcast. He's been getting some bangers, some folks to show up, and they sit and drink. Basically, he just giggling, and he has some. He's a pretty smart guy. I'm like Dennis Sharp. He's a football player, but he was on Celebrity Jeopardy and won. Kudos to him.
It's
But he's
it's funny his way of interviewing. It's not like a journalist. It's not like a comedian, and those are the two main types: a journalist who goes out and interviews somebody, and a comedian who's talking to entertain. But he's just got this. And yeah, he's been a sportscaster for a while. He's calling plays basically, and he's still got that style of,
Mm,
"Didn't you see what that didn't you see that happen right there? What was that about? Tell me about that." It's like
good
the same
point.
way when you're talking about football or whatever. He's like, "When you did this and cut that way, what made you decide to," and you're like, "Huh, breaking
Good
down."
point.
I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
a
that's
good
the same
point.
way he
Yeah,
breaks down football. It's just an interesting style to listen to.
yeah, good point. He is doing that. And he even said that he's calling plays even from previous guests. Steve Harvey said this. When you let me Cat, you commented on that, what he said, refuting that. And then obviously Cat was very verbal. He said, look, I'm a master of the English language, and this is what you craft jokes, and this is how you it's very articulate. So he was just like right there with a banger the next every
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
And so very compelling, yeah, to your point. And so kudos to I don't know. You get that many views, you get a lot of hate too. So I don't know what that means, but I'm sure Shannon Sharp negotiation time at ESPN. If you don't know, he works on ESPN doing his day job with Stephen A. Smith. It's going to be some big conversations because that thing was so viral that I think Shannon Sharp now is truly on his own platform and he can probably do what he wants.
Yeah, basically. And I don't know how much need to talk about this, but everybody's wondering about getting money from YouTube and podcasts like this, how you monetize it. So I he's got his alcohol brand, and I'm sure there's a pay scheme going on with people either getting on the show or him paying people to come on the show so he can promote and monetize whatever he's doing. But I've heard some different numbers getting thrown around or how much they think that he made for this one podcast. And I didn't like all those voices, so I went straight to Bard and asked the Google Bard for the answer.
The AI
Yeah,
has won
magic
again.
AI. But yeah, they say a high end scenario where you have a high CPM. That's basically cost per click, earnings per click or whatever. You're gonna get 250,000 to $500,000 in earnings if you got a pretty exceptional agreement. I'm pretty sure at his level, coming from the sports world and flying straight into YouTube, pretty sure he's got something good going on. But yeah, 500,000 straight out for an episode, and then monetizing on top of that, building new relationships, and yeah, being able to adjust your rates knowing that you're that platform. I don't know. It's still an
Oh
option,
yeah,
right?
he's gonna probably from this, he'll probably make millions because to your point, all the other they have their own social media. I see Kevin Hart respond to other folks, but you gotta go to the shade room now to talk about okay, you need 3 hours to refute everything that Cat Williams said. So you gotta go there.
Yeah. Yeah, who else is gonna run you 3 hours like that in a comfy couch with the no, it's cool. I'm proud of him.
Yeah. Nah, and then yeah, I like how we're doing a breakdown, business breakdown. Maybe we'll talk about that more. But you're right. 25 million views in 3 days is exceptionally rare. And so that doesn't even happen. Even Mr. Beast, I don't know, think gets that to that level. And I love how it was something that was more organic than just the schemes that Mr. Beast comes up with to get you to click. And then, is he gonna die from being buried alive for 7 days? I don't care. I think that's to me, I think that's where content needs to go to more engagement, but it's extremely rare because it's hard to find people that are that good for 3 hours, and that's tough. But
Did
anyway, yeah.
did you see this whole thing coming?
Which one?
No, the whole Cat Williams thing, just drama at the beginning of the year.
No one did. Cat Williams is verbal. We all know that it can be controversial. And wait a minute, let's be honest. Let's not put Cat Williams on this pedestal of the bastion of what's good in comedy and who's good and who's not. This dude, let's be honest, was fighting middle schoolers not too long ago. Remember, he was actually spending a lot of time in jail. Please, Cat, don't come after me, man. He's like, somebody leak this out, and Cat's like, "Who's this podcaster?" He comes start coming after me, but so he's
But
got
he's
his
but
problems too.
but he's toned down his language, so put a nice halo on top of his portrait.
Oh yeah. Do you like his comedy? It's subjective, of course, but do you like his comedy?
Not so much.
Yeah, same here. It was weird. I saw this one of his early ones, right? Pimp Chronicles. I think that was it. And I said, okay, it's funny. He was what Money Mike, right? And so
Mhm.
from next Friday, that's how I knew him. So I said, okay, he's a funny guy, the way he speaks, he's a real guy, whatever. And then he started getting to more political stuff in his later comedian. I was like, I don't know if I want. laugh about Trump jokes with Katt Williams. I don't know. Just don't hit the same.
Yeah, it's definitely a style, and I'm not saying he's not good, but he's just got a style, and you'll come to figure that out with comedians. I don't know, people on the internet seem to have this on or off. He's funny or he's not. It's yeah, you can say that, but it's an art. So at some point, you're gonna have to get to the level of understanding comedy enough where it's, oh no, that guy's funny. He's intelligent. I see what he's doing. I see the reaction that person gets, but it's not my style. Cat Williams
We
just
talked about this.
not my style.
Yeah, we talked about this, right? The Chris Rock and Kevin Hart documentary, which I haven't seen yet. So I don't, maybe because I don't think either of those guys as funny as they used to be anymore. But that's just my take on it. But he said, Chris Rock said,
Yeah.
yeah,
What if
Chris
Chris
Rock's,
go on. Sorry.
yeah, Chris Rock said being funny is subjective, but what he said, getting people to laugh is not, or something to that effect. And so basically, if you craft a joke well and you practice, you know how to do it right, you can make anybody laugh.
No,
And
selling
so,
tickets, I thought you said.
yo, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I can't recall. Yeah, but no, I think said comedy is subjective, but getting people to laugh is not, or something like that. Get the audience to laugh was not. But we're quote, Mr. Bench is going to go ahead and check me on that quote. But we thought that was an interesting quote. But I think it's more of a skill and an art to figure that out. And I think Cat Williams does understand that. But to your point, yeah, I may have to check his next comedy special. I think he has one coming out, so we're gonna check it out and see what he's talking about. But because I think that's gonna be a money banger. I wouldn't be surprised he does a live Netflix show like Chris Rock did. I guarantee you, Mr.
A
Benja.
live one. Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're gonna talk about predictions later, but that's my prediction there. It's a live
Just live.
Netflix show.
Yeah.
25 million for Cat Williams.
Yeah, basically. Let me ask you this. Speaking of 2024, we're just now getting started. Do you have any predictions? I know you like predictions, and I had some, I don't know, I would say predictions or thoughts. Do you have anything you want to go through? Let's just run through a little list. Can we do that? You got a little time here.
Let's do it.
All right. First of all, I didn't even know how to categorize this one. Are we okay? How is our everyone's mental health? There's like a war going on. People
Two.
are yes, too. People are very upset about everything, and people that are down and somber at the same time. So it's a very weird time. I don't know if it gets better.
This is gonna be a crazy time. The presidential election is coming this year, right? So they're already gonna have Iowa caucuses. If you don't know, that's the beginning of this circus show. And so Trump gets back in there, and we know what that's gonna be like. But I don't know. It's gonna be. I feel it's gonna be different this time. But we'll discuss as we see more. And then also AI, man, the interference of AI in the election, what that gonna look like, but AI in general.
Mhm.
I think there was some reports that even after shenanigans of what's happening with Sam Altman, that whole firing, non-firing thing over at OpenAI, they still bring in close to $1 billion in revenue, annualized revenue. So basically, they're growing. OpenAI investments in AI systems still impede. So
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to affect us in this year.
I got a idea on AI for this year. A little prediction, a thought maybe. We're going to see the first big widespread scare from AI where
Oh,
everybody's like, holy crap, what? Oh God, that happened. And then you're going to have people just getting, you're going to see a stronger pullback. I don't know. Maybe somebody throws a rock at a self-driving Tesla. I don't know.
yeah.
It's
There's a movie called The Creator that talked about that. People are uprising against the AI, right? And yeah. Okay. I wrote it down, Mr. Benja. So you think a scare will happen in some form or fashion and that would push us back from AI. I love it. I love it.
I don't know if it pushes
I
I
don't
don't know
have
if it pushes back, but there's gonna be some contention. I did say pushback, but actually I don't know about that. There's just gonna be a scare, some contention. People are gonna fight on both sides, and yeah, we can make it some new age hippies out of this.
I love it. I love it. All right, Mr. Benja, president election. I have a prediction. I'm just gonna throw it out here too, since we're starting the predictions. I will say this year that I don't think Trump will be the go-getter that we think he is for excitement for the election. I think Trump is done. And but there will be someone else that will arise up to grab attention because you can't have it'll be a vacuum. There's someone's got to fill that vacuum with attention. I just don't know who that will be.
Mhm.
Somebody will rise up. And it may even come from someone who's not even running right now. Maybe an entertainer. Heck, I could even see Cat Williams jumping in the ring. I was like,
I was about to say, you get Katt Williams to start roasting on anybody coming up, roasting on what's his name? Biden. The Katt
there you
Williams
go.
roast of Biden. Just on
Yeah.
fire.
But there's got to be somebody that's going to drive attention. So I don't know who that's going to be yet, but I do feel like Trump. I think he's old news now. People are like, been there, done that. I need a new show. And let's be honest, the presidential election is a show, and so we need a star. So someone's going to rise up, and I don't know who
Wow.
that's going to be.
Bars. Bars.